Must have been something else, Doreen. You don't get threats and a bashing like this for nothing.
Well, you know I don't like to be parted from my food and, well, every buy-up day Janie would come round and we'd have to give her anything she wanted. Well, I just decided I wouldn't do it anymore. She got her mates to bash me.
Now pull the other one and tell me what really happened.
Good heavens, look at that! God! Bloody dogs!
Did anyone hear this was going to happen?
Oh, yeah, the screws came and told me all about it last night. Sneaky, rotten bastards.
That camera gear must have cost a fortune.
Keep your voice down. Now, I don't care how much it costs. You mean a great deal to me, you know.
And I'm just beginning to realise what that means. Now, we agreed to cool it, didn't we?
Yes, but...
Well, you're not, and I've had enough.
What do you mean?
I mean it's over, Janet. I don't want to see you again.
Hey, do you like a cup?
What? Oh, it's,
What's the matter with you?
well, I suppose you'll find out soon enough. Janet and I have finally decided to finish it.
See,
Oh, it's just that, well, she wanted far more than I was prepared to give.
thought you had all that sorted out.
Yeah, so did I. We agreed to take things a bit more casual, but I'm just beginning to realise that what she says and what she wants are two entirely different things.
You're probably just making a bit too much of it. Things will settle down after a while.
Yeah, maybe. But right now, I just want out. I've been feeling trapped and obligated and a whole lot of things I never intended.
Well, did you explain that to her?
Yeah, of course I did. But all the explanations in the world wouldn't have made any difference. I got home the other night to find her waiting for me with a present.
Well, people do give presents to people they're fond of, you know.
Yeah, maybe, but not like this one. It was a very expensive camera. No, she said she got it cheap. But I got into work, I found the rest of the present. A carry bag, zoom lens, motor drive unit, about $1,000 worth.
Look, do you want me to go and talk to her?
No, what could you say?
Did you tell her about your application for Governor of Beachmont?
No. And I've no intention of telling her either. I've had enough hysterical scenes to last me a lifetime. Besides, I was completely straight with her. I told her it was over in no uncertain terms. It shouldn't concern her anymore, should it?
I guess not.
Hey, Lizzie, what's the matter? Food outside spoil you. Or aren't you glad to be back?
Oh, it's not so bad. Being back, I mean.
Nobody thought you meant the food.
All my friends are here. Gets a bit lonely on the outside. Besides, I'm worried about Dor.
Yeah. Did she tell you anything about it?
No. Oh, she gave me some rubbish about a hassle over the buy-up. That's all. I reckon there's more to it than that.
Well, that could be it, you know. That Janie bitch was always getting into everyone's buy-up, taking bits and pieces.
Well, that stinks.
Yeah. Oh, well, she did manage to leave us one or two things. But Doreen wouldn't be in it.
You reckon she wanted to hang on to her bickies and stuff?
And she used you for protection, right?
Oh, protection from that great tub of lard. Right, now, bitch, you, Judy! Enough of you!
Remember your parole. Now, sit down.
Relax, Jude. Don't let her get to you.
Do you really reckon that's why Dor got done over?
Well, it could be, but I don't think so. I reckon she's hiding something. There's more to it.
You gonna find out about it?
Stop worrying.
Can I talk to you in private?
Yeah, why not? All right, what is it?
Do you remember the racket I told you about when you were in hospital?
Which one?
The way we get the extra food and stuff with the kitchen orders.
Oh, yeah, Doreen was forging signatures for you.
Yeah, well, I reckon I can handle that part. Now that things have calmed down around here, I reckon we should start it up again.
And by we, I presume you mean you and me.
It was a good lurk, Bee. The women will be grateful, and it'll help get them back on side.
Yeah, well, if I get rid of that winter bitch, I'll be in it.
Terrific. Now all we've got to do is figure out a way to get into the kitchen.
You leave that to me.
Good. I want to start it up again before Mari takes it over like she did the laundry racket.
And if you take that over, will you keep up the pill supply?
Are you kidding? I've seen the trouble it causes on the outside. It's just asking for trouble.
You wait till I get back on my feet. I'll put a stop to that.
Yes, well, the trouble is that now Mari has contact with the McNally mob, they are not going to want the drugs to stop.
What are you two doing here? Now get to the laundry.
Get a move on.
I'll put a stop to the game somehow, don't you worry. Even if I have to break a few heads to do it.
Ah, Judy.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Morris.
You can leave that. You've got a visitor.
What have I done now? Who is it? No, don't tell me. I want to be surprised.
Come on, that attitude's not going to help. Besides, you might be surprised.
Hey. Just have a look at her, will you? She really thinks she's top of the heap.
Yeah, well, we can't do anything about it now. We've got to wait till we get the women on side.
Hey, B, I'm skint. You got a few bob for an old mate?
Sure.
So how about you, Sand? You got any to spare?
Yeah.
Hey, Smith. The workload's light enough for you, so how about doing some of it? And Birdsworth, stop holding things up, will you?
I need to borrow some money for something real important.
What happened to all the day you had when you went out?
Oh, some bloody con man put the hard word on me and bloody Mudgally gave him the whole lot.
Stop, you're breaking my heart.
Hey, Birdbrain, I won't give you any money, but if you're getting ready for the big buy, I'll give you a bulk discount.
The name is Birdsworth, and I wouldn't touch those pills. We've never had them in here before, and they're poison.
Well, things are different now, Birdbath, so you better get used to it.
I need some money for something important, not rubbish like that.
Tough.
Come, we're out here.
Oh, I think you'll understand in a minute.
Laurie! Oh, my God! What are you doing here? I thought you'd be on your honeymoon.
We are. Jeff and I decided we'd come... Oh, look, I'm sorry, you haven't even met yet. Mum, this is Jeff. My mother, Judy.
Oh, your husband, I don't believe it. Gosh, well, how was the wedding? I bet you look beautiful, huh? I'm sorry I couldn't be there, darling.
Oh, so were we. But look, we got your telegram, didn't we, and that lovely present?
Yeah, well, I was hoping my parole had come through. I even had my ticket, then they postponed my case.
Oh, never mind. We're going to spend as much time together as we possibly can while we're down here. We're honeymooning right here in Melbourne. Oh. Jeff's uncle's got a farm here trading trotters. Oh, I do wish you could see it, Mum. It really is so beautiful.
Yeah, you could spend some time with us when you're out on parole. You'd be most welcome.
Thank you very much. Hey, you got a real nice guy here, Laurie.
Oh, I know I have. Do you think we'll be able to get out in time, though?
Well, I don't know, love. Depends on whether the board's going to approve my parole. All we can do is hope.
Well, Mrs. Morris, what do you think Mum's chances are with the parole board?
Really don't know. But there are a couple of requirements that have to be filled.
Well, like?
Well, first of all, she'd have to have permanent accommodation, something the board would approve of.
Well, that's easily fixed. I've got some money. I can get her a flat. Oh, I'm sorry, darling. What do you think?
Well, love, I'll be honest with you. I was a bit uneasy about what I find here today. I mean, a person with her background and all that, but I like it. So anything you say goes for me too.
She said you were a good man and she was right. Well, you said there were a couple of requirements, though.
Yes, another thing is she'd have to have a job. Now, the only thing she's qualified to do is drive a taxi. I've spoken to her old employer and he's willing to have her back. The board would have to approve her parole.
Yeah, and the board only approve her parole if she has a job, right?
Right.
Well, we'll just go straight down to the taxi company and talk them into it.
Well, that'd certainly help. I'll give you their name and address. But I think you better be quick. The meeting's tomorrow.
Oh. You better get a move on, love.
Well, we'll let you know how we go, Mrs. Morris, anyway.
You two on a side. I don't think there's much worry.
Oh, Mrs. M.
See, what are you doing wandering around? Aren't you supposed to be in the laundry?
I know that. I'll go in a minute, but I want to talk to you first. Oh, can you open this thing? I hate talking through bars.
All right, all right. Now, what is it? What, if it's about your parole being revoked, I'm afraid there's nothing I can do.
Oh, I know that. I know you can't fight this system. It's more important than that. I want you to do me a favour.
What kind of a favour?
I want you to take this and do something for me. I can't do anything with it in here.
Where did that come from, Lizzie? Now, you didn't have a cent when you came in here.
Oh, I sort of won it.
What does that mean?
Well, I needed it real bad. It was only a small bet to cheer myself up. Now, you won't dob me in, will you?
Well, what is it that's so important?
I want you to take this and buy the biggest teddy bear you can find.
Teddy bear?
It's for Dor. She's feeling real bad, just to cheer her up.
Don't you think Doreen's a bit old for teddy bears now?
She still loves them. Besides, what difference does it make how old you are? I just wanted to know somebody cares. You're never too old for that.
Oh, right, Lizzie, but don't ask me anything else.
Oh, good on you, Mrs. M.
How about we both go back to work, eh?
Good day.
Anything you could do to prevent another outbreak would be very helpful.
Well, I don't like trouble any more than you do, but I don't exactly have much pull with the women at the moment.
Perhaps I shall be speaking to Mari Winter.
I wouldn't know about that.
I see. I hope there's not going to be any trouble now that you're back.
Mrs. Davison, I just want to get better.
Would you prefer to be let off work duty for a while? It could be arranged under the circumstances.
Oh, thanks, but I think it'd be better if I did something. But I would prefer something a bit quieter than the laundry. Maybe I could go to the kitchen for a while.
Yes, I'll see to that. All right, you may go.
Yeah.
And Smith, make sure you stay out of trouble.
Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Davison. I just want a bit of peace and quiet.
OK, where's my money?
You'll get your money when I made my deals. Minus your new rate of commission, of course. If you want to be paid in pills, that can be arranged.
No way. I set up the deal. I want the cash.
OK, just relax, get back to work. When I've handed out my little goodies, you'll get your money.
What are you so happy about, Lizzie?
Oh, I'm getting a little surprise for a mate. It's a secret. Hey, that's not yours!
Mind your own business, you old bat.
All right, hand it over.
When I've finished.
Give it to
I
me.
said when I've finished. Or do you want to take on me mates here single-handed? Just protecting my interests. This is my operation and I'm censoring everything that comes through. You're welcome to it. Righto, girls. Who wants to buy a little fun time?
Oh, look, aren't they lovely?
Lovely? I think they're horrible.
How can you say that? Oh, I think they're real good boys.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't try making friends with them. They're trying to attack.
Oh, it's any wonder the way they carry on, because they're unhappy, aren't you, fellas? Oh, well, never mind. Dora will look after you. All they need's a little love.
They're not pets, they're guard dogs. They're behaving exactly the way they've been trained to.
Yeah. Well, I reckon it's a rotten thing to do. Never mind. Dora's going to be your mate, and I'm going to come and talk to you whenever I can.
It's a good time for me to start out, maybe. Yeah.
Hey, Ken. I want a word with you.
Sure. Well, what about?
I don't reckon Birdsworth was too smart this morning, do you?
What are you talking about?
Telling Edwards about that letter I was reading. That was pretty dumb, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, she's been around, she knows what's what. Still, I reckon she won't make the same mistake again. Are you as smart as Birdsworth?
What do you mean?
Don't be so bloody thick. I'm talking about that note you saw me take a couple of days ago.
That? Well, I didn't tell no one.
Just as well. I just want to make quite sure you're not a blabbermouth.
Why? You afraid of what Sandy might do to you if she finds out?
Afraid of Edwards? What do you think? I just want to make quite sure there's not going to be any trouble.
Was that letter today trouble?
You know, you're just a little bit too nosy for your own good. The only trouble you're going to have to worry about is the trouble you cop if you talk too much. Do you get me?
Yeah. Sure, I understand.
Righto, off you go. Enjoy your lunch.
Well, you had better start practicing Mrs. O's signature. I have just been transferred to kitchen duty.
Bea, I'm scared. A letter just came through in the laundry bag. And, well, I don't even know what it means, but whatever it is not too good.
Letter from who?
Fitzwater.
I told you not to get mixed up with them. They are bad news. Here, let me see it.
You know, the bit where it says I didn't keep up insurance payments on my family. Yeah, well, I'm pretty scared for Arthur. I've got to get word to Pentridge somehow. I've got to warn him.
Forget it. The only way I can get a message out of here is to the laundry bag, and that goes straight to Fitzwater.
Oh, God.
If I were you, I'd start worrying about myself. All this stuff about hoping you've kept up insurance payments on your own life, that's pretty heavy coming from them.
But why?
You mean you don't know?
I haven't got a clue what I've done or what I haven't done. Oh, God, Bea. If I don't know what the threat's about, there's nothing I can do about it, is there?
I'm glad you're feeling better, Doreen. You should be getting out of hospital soon.
No, I'm not really that good, Mrs. Davidson. I think I should stay here a bit longer.
Well, the doctor said you're almost ready to leave. I thought you'd be looking forward to it. It can be very lonely lying in a hospital bed all day.
Yeah, well, I think I ought to stay here.
What's wrong, Doreen?
Nothing. I just don't feel like seeing a lot of people, that's all. I'm sick of Wentworth anyway. Couldn't I go somewhere else?
Well, I'm afraid that's not possible. Perhaps you're feeling a little depressed because of your injuries. You'll be feeling better when you're out and about.
Yeah, sure.
You know, your attitude has a lot to do with how quickly you get better. Try to be a little more positive. Are you sure there's nothing you want to talk about?
No.
Some problem?
No, nothing.
Well, I shall be reading the doctor's latest report when I get back to the office. We'll know then how soon you can be back with your friends.
Well, could you let me know straight away?
Well, I'm going off duty shortly, but I'll make sure someone lets you know. Doreen, try to be a little more cheerful. Everything will be back to normal soon.
Look, as I tell that Mrs. Morris, if the parole board says she's all right and lets her out, well, then I might think about giving her old job. Just through there and sit down.
Well, unless she's got a job to go to, she won't even get her parole.
Yes. I see the problem. What's your connection with this Bryant woman, anyway?
It's my mother.
I see.
Was she a good worker?
Matter of fact, she was. Always had good pay-ins.
Well, that's all that really matters, isn't it? I mean, she made a mistake. Like Laurie said, she's paid for that.
I thought you didn't know her.
Yeah, well, I only met her this morning, but she seems like a decent sort to me.
Well, all right. No one ever said I wasn't a fair man. Tell her she can have a job back, as long as there's no trouble.
Oh, there won't be, I promise. Thanks a lot, Mr. Wilson.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ah, how was your day?
Oh, I've heard better.
Bryant's parole hearing is set for tomorrow.
How do you think she'll go?
Well, things are looking a lot brighter. Her daughter and son-in-law went off today to find her a flat, and they're also determined to get her old job back.
That should help.
Well, if they can do it. The flat shouldn't be too much trouble, but I don't hold out too much hope for the job.
Right. Well, look, I've written a report for you to take supporting her parole. You never know. As Deputy Governor, it might help.
Oh, it certainly will. Oh, thanks, Jim. That's just what I came to ask you to do.
Yes? No, Mrs. Davidson's gone home. I'm Deputy Governor. What? I see. Look, just hold it on a minute, will you? Meg, get Edwards in here for me, will you, please? You better tell me that again.
Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, it's not that good.
Oh, but we've got one, darling. I mean, we've got a flat and a job. They'll have to let her out now. Anyway, what's wrong with it? I mean, it's an all right sort of a flat.
Well, it's a bit like a big concrete box. And it's got no backyard.
You're just used to the farm. Well, OK, it's not perfect. But I've seen a lot worse.
Yeah, well, we've both seen a lot worse. I don't know, I suppose you're right. Just a bit too closed in for me.
Well, it's a lot less closed in for Mum than where she's been before.
Fletcher. Hello?
Is there anybody there? Look, who is this? Come in, Edwards. Take a seat. Meg, I think you'd better stay. Sit down. I'm afraid I've got some rather bad news for you, Edwards.
It's about my husband, isn't it? It's about Arthur?
Yes, I'm sorry.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Are you sure you want to go into a single cell? Yes. Thought you'd be better off if you weren't alone right now. I'm all right. I'd rather be alone. Gonna be alone when I get out. Might as well get used to it. Arthur and I had a lot of plans, you know. I know you'll find this hard to believe now, but you will get over it. Yes. I lost a husband too. He was killed in a riot. Time does help. I think we would have made it when we got out. At least we had a chance. I'm ready. Oh, I need a pencil and paper and stuff. I've got to write a letter to someone. Yeah, I'll get it. That's Kate. Oh, it doesn't matter. She won't care.
You off home? Is Burns always such a whinger?
Doreen? Why? What's happened?
Oh, I just went down to the hospital to tell her she could be moved back to a cell tomorrow. Didn't want to think I told her she was going to her execution.
Oh, perhaps she's not feeling 100%.
Oh, I know, but the doctor gave her the all clear. Well, first of all, she didn't want to come back at all, and then she complained that she wasn't getting a cell of her own.
Maybe she's just feeling sorry for herself.
I'd say she's not the only one. You don't look on top of the world yourself.
I'm worried about Sandy Edwards. We just had word a while ago that her husband had been murdered in Pentridge.
Edwards? Married?
Why so surprised?
Oh, I just never thought of a woman like her with a husband, that's all. Well, where is she now?
We've moved her into a single cell for a while. I'd like you to check on her later.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just don't like the way she's taking it. I mean, she's wound up like a spring, showing no emotion whatsoever.
Look, wouldn't it be better if another woman looked in on her? Mrs. Powell will be on duty.
No. Colleen's not the most sympathetic person in the world. I'd feel better if it were you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she's not in for an easy time. I think she's going to need all the help she can get. Well, I must be off. See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Oh, I was just coming to look for someone. All Sandy's things have been moved out.
Yes, I know. She's gone to a single cell.
Why? Was there some trouble?
She had news today. Her husband died. He was murdered.
Murdered?
An inmate at Pentridge. Probably trouble with another prisoner.
Well, how's Sandy?
I don't know. I suppose she's all right.
You suppose? Her husband's just been killed and you suppose she's all right?
We'll be checking on her tonight. Now, she hasn't broken down or anything. She seems to be taking it fairly well.
Well, that can be a very bad sign. Has anyone called a doctor?
She is being looked after, Peterson. Now, you and I have something more important to talk about. It's about time you came up with more information for me.
Well, I wouldn't push it if I were you. You're in a rather delicate position, aren't you? Oh, don't worry. You'll get more. Just as long as you keep arranging those little visits from Inspector Grace.
It isn't all that easy, you know.
If you want information, you have to keep up your end of the bargain. That's how it works, isn't it?
Oh, now, just you remember who's in control here.
How could I possibly forget?
Hi, Mrs. Morris.
Well, how did it go? Oh, we
Great.
had a wonderful day, thanks. We found a pretty decent sort of a flat, and I've taken out a lease in my name.
Well, that's terrific.
And she also managed to talk Judy's boss into giving her old job back.
Oh, well, he wasn't too keen when I spoke to him. He must have been pretty persuasive.
She was great. I think she shamed him into it.
Look, the flat's all furnished, and I've paid a whole month's rent. It's all ready for her to move into.
Well, I think Judy stands a pretty good chance now. Yep. You've done really well.
Oh, it wasn't all me, Mrs. Morris. Jeff helped to convince Mr. Wilson too, you know.
Yeah, well, I must admit I wasn't too sure at first. I mean, I've never met anyone like Laurie's mother before, but after talking to her, well, she's just like one of the boys. Oh, by that I mean she's not.
Oh, don't worry, darling. Mum's not going to mind your choice of words at all.
Did you hear what happened?
What?
Sandy's husband's been murdered.
Oh, my God. What happened?
I don't know, but word came in tonight he'd been killed.
Is she okay?
I don't know. She's asked to be put in a cell by herself for the time being. Pal told me about it. She wouldn't tell me much more.
God. But do you think she'll be all right?
Well, according to Pal, she is. What that means is she hasn't broken down and become hysterical.
You know, that's really weird. I didn't even know she had a husband. I wonder if she was fond of him.
She could be in shock. If she is, and when she does let go, well, it won't be pleasant.
Oh, poor kid. Everything always happened to her at once, didn't it? Oh, gee. I'll be glad when this is over.
What?
My hearing tomorrow. The suspense is killing me.
Now who's worrying too much? Why shouldn't you get your parole?
Oh, I know. It's just that Laurie's having her honeymoon here in Melbourne. She even said she could spend some time with me.
Oh, you'll get out. Try not to get into any trouble and mess things up.
Yeah, well, there's no worry about that. Last time I was out, Well, I don't even want to talk about that.
Then don't. Try and get some rest before tomorrow.
Yeah.
You must know that I've never tried to go against orders. Someone is setting me up. I know how word got to the police. If you can arrange a visit and get me the weapon, make sure the lagger's not around anymore to cause any trouble.
You all right?
Yeah.
I only just heard about it. Sorry. I didn't even know you were married.
Not many people did. No point talking about it, really. I've just been writing a letter to a friend of the family. He's the only one who can really get our affairs together. I was wondering if you'd take it out and post it for me.
There shouldn't be any problems posting it through the normal channels.
Yeah, well, let's just say I don't really trust the normal channels. If you took it out, I could be sure. It's important. It's what Arthur would have wanted. It's really the last thing I can do for him, you know?
You're all right, if it's that important.
Thanks.
You talk like you really cared about him.
I do. I did.
But...
You're wondering about us, are you? Arthur and I understood each other. If we'd been together, there would never have been anyone else. He never expected me to stop living, you know. He would have understood, see, we loved each other. We both knew there wasn't any chance we could lead a normal life till he was out. But... no.
Good morning. Are you all right?
Yep.
Are you coming down to the showers?
No. Too many people.
Sandy, I know you prefer to be alone, but it might help to have a few friends around.
I don't think so.
I understand how you feel.
Do you?
Does it surprise you? We've all suffered some sort of loss in our lives, you know.
Doc, I really don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to intrude. I just want to help.
I don't need any help.
You know, keeping things inside you can be very dangerous. Believe me, I've seen it happen.
Look, I appreciate your concern, but I'd really rather be left alone. I don't want to talk about what happened or how I feel, not with anyone.
I'm sorry. Well, if you change your mind.
Yeah, thanks.
It's a teddy bear.
I can see that. What are you doing with it?
It's for Doreen. Doreen Burns?
Presents for the women now?
Of course not. Lizzie Birdsworth asked me to buy it. She wanted something to welcome Doreen back with.
That'd figure. Burns's mentality, she'd want a teddy bear. Hey, Birdsworth didn't have any money when she came back in. Where'd she get it?
I paid for it. She's going to pay me back when a money transfer comes through.
It's going to have to be searched.
Now, that's ridiculous. Do you want me to pull it apart and give it to Doreen in pieces?
Rules are rules. Anything brought in for a prisoner has to be searched.
Look, I bought this teddy and it hasn't been out of my sight since.
Seriously, Meg, when are you going to learn you can't afford to be soft with this lot?
Mrs. Davidson approved it. You can always speak to her.
Oh, no. If you want to go out of your way for them, it's not my problem.
Right, I got work to do.
Bye.
Oh, Mrs. Morris, is it time for me to go before the board yet?
Now, calm down. Mr. Fletcher's presenting your report to the board. You may not even have to appear.
Do you mean they don't even want to see me? Oh, well, that's just terrific, isn't it? I don't have to be hit on the head with a brick to know what that means, do I?
It doesn't mean that at all. Now, you've got to try and be a bit more optimistic. Look, they've got all the information they want and they simply don't need to see you.
Yeah.
Look, you try and forget about it for a while. Anyway, we'll be hearing soon.
All right. Listen, what's that thing for?
Oh, Lizzie wanted something for Doreen to welcome her back. She thought it might cheer her up. She asked me to buy it for her.
Isn't that just like Lizzie? You know, she's probably right, too. Probably will cheer up Doreen. No wonder she wanted a loan of some money.
A loan?
Yeah, well, when she came back, she said she didn't have any money. She borrowed from quite a few of us. She said it was for something important. I guess in this case, a teddy bear is important.
She told me she won it on a bet.
Did she now? Oh, well. I think when the women see what their money went for, they won't mind.
Oh, hi, fellas. Remember me? Oh, what good boys, eh? Hey, aren't they fantastic? Nobody even bothered to tell me your names, you know? But don't worry, I'll find out. And if I don't find out, I'll give you new names. That's what I'll do. I'll make them up all by myself. What'd you like to be called?
Look at that, will you? Trying to make friends with the dogs.
What was that letter you promised to send?
Look, I don't know.
But you promised. You gave me your word.
Yeah. All right.
I really appreciate what you've done for me. You got me through last night. Now at least I know my affairs are going to be in order. Don't know how to thank you.
Oh, it's all right. No problems. Look, I'm off duty now. You can stay here with Burns. Mrs. Ward will see you both back. Look, try and buck up. I'll see when I come back on duty. And don't worry about this. I'll make sure it gets mailed.
You want it in the governor's office.
Is it about my hearing?
I don't know what it's about. Now, come on, I haven't got all day.
Well, Mrs. Morris said that they probably wouldn't want to see me. Do they usually ask to see people if they're going to knock them back?
Would you get a move on? Mrs. Davidson said no.
Maybe they don't want to see me. Maybe it's just Mrs. Davidson that wants to see me. And if it's Mrs. Davidson... What the hell I'm kidding myself for? If my parole had been granted, you would have come in here and told me straight out. Mrs. Davidson probably only wants to see me to let me down gently.
Bryant.
All right, I'm coming. I don't see the point, though.
See you later, Ted.
Okay, Steve.
Sit down, Bryant.
Listen, Mrs. Davidson, does the board want to see me? Because if they do, I'd just like a little while to smarten myself up a bit, you know. I don't want them to get the wrong impression.
I don't think you could cope with the board at the moment.
Oh, I can. It's just I'm a bit nervous, that's all.
Well, you can relax. They don't want to see you.
Oh, I see.
I don't think you do. They didn't feel it was necessary to see you in person. They were quite satisfied with the reports.
Do you mean I'm getting out?
As soon as the paperwork is completed, you may go.
Oh, I don't believe it. I'm getting out of here, huh? Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm never coming back.
Are you ready?
No.
Oh, come on, hurry up, will you?
Don't rush me. You can accumulate a lot of stuff in here in 2 years' time. I don't think I want to stay here any longer than necessary, do you?
No, I don't want to hang around waiting for you all day. I've got better things to do with my time.
Well, then why didn't you go and do them? Mrs. Morris has taken me out anyway.
No. Unfortunately, I am.
But she said that she would.
Stop talking. Get on with the packing. Mrs. Morris is busy, and we're not at the beck and call of you lot, you know.
Anyway, get off my back. I don't have to listen to you anymore anyway. I'm not one of your prisoners now, you know.
Until you've been signed out officially and left Wentworth, I'm giving the orders. Do you want to argue the point? Keep talking. I could have you on an insubordination charge so fast your head would spin.
You would too, wouldn't you? And probably enjoy it.
Push your luck, Bryant. One more word, you might find out how serious I am.
I'm ready.
Thank you. It's about time. Come on.
Wait a minute. Aren't I going to be allowed to say goodbye to my friends?
Oh, for heaven's sakes, you think you were going to miss them. Just get out.
Thanks a lot, Mrs. Powell. I knew you'd understand.
Oh, Doreen, are you ready to go back now?
Mrs. Morris, I'm feeling real crook. I think you better get the doctor to have another look at me. I don't think I'm ready to go back yet.
But you had your last examination yesterday and you were fine.
Yeah, well, I'm not feeling too good now.
You've been checked out. I can promise you well enough to go back.
Well, that's easy for you to say. You don't know how I feel.
What is it, Doreen?
Nothing. I told you I'm not too well.
Now, come along. You can tell me. What's the real reason you don't want to go back?
Look, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just crook, that's all, and I don't feel like seeing a lot of people. Could I go to isolation for a while?
Oh, now you're being ridiculous. No one ever asked to go there.
Yeah, well, I'm asking. I just want to be on my own for a bit.
Oh, now, come along. That's enough. Now, you were to go in with Judy, but as she's been paroled today, you'll be on your own anyway.
She's leaving?
Yes, and unless you hurry up, you won't be there in time to say goodbye to her.
Oh, well, I'm glad she got a parole. I mean, that's real beaut for her. But if you just spoke to the doctor, told him how
Come on, Doreen. There's nothing wrong with you. Anyway, I thought you'd be anxious to see your surprise.
Surprise? What kind of surprise?
Well, if I told you that, it wouldn't be one, would it? Would you take these? Doreen?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Well, where is she?
Just relax, darling. She'll be here in a minute.
You keep saying that, and she's still not here. Oh, come on, what time is it?
About 30 seconds later than last time you asked me.
Oh. You think she'll like the flat?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, what would you know? You think anything less than an acre's cramped. She'll love it.
Listen, sweetheart, I'm sure she will.
I wonder if Mrs. Morris has told her she's got her old job back. I hope not. I'd really like to tell her myself.
You feel pretty proud of yourself, don't you?
Oh, of course I do. I was brilliant. Oh, you helped a bit too.
Why, thank you very much. I suppose you're used to this kind of stuff by now, are you? Not really?
Where is she? Well, I hope nothing's gone wrong.
Well, of course nothing's gone wrong. She'll be here in a minute.
Well, why doesn't she hurry up then? Well, come on, what's the time?
Sweetheart.
Where did that come from? Whose is it?
It's yours.
Mine?
Lizzie took a collection amongst the women. It's a sort of welcome home present.
Is this the surprise you were talking about?
Thanks, Kate. Yes, Lizzie thought you might be feeling a bit down. She insisted on it being a teddy bear.
Silly old bugger.
Hey, it was supposed to cheer you up, not make you cry.
I can't help it. It's just so nice. I've never been given anything this nice before. And it's just that...
Just what, Doreen? What's wrong? Well, something is. You've been acting very strangely. I know you couldn't tell me before, but we're alone now. You know you can always talk to me.
I can't tell anyone.
It might help. Whatever it is, it's upsetting you terribly. It might help just to get it off your chest.
I can't, Mrs. Morris. I can't tell anybody. I don't want anyone to know. Because if Lizzie and the others found out what I've done, they would never have given me this.
Good. I was about to come looking for you.
I was helping Burns move into Bryant's old cell.
What have you got for me?
You're very anxious, aren't you?
You know the deal. I've warned you before.
I really don't think you're in any position to make threats, do you?
Don't push your luck, Peterson.
There's no need to get nasty. I've every intention of keeping my end of the bargain.
Yes, you'd better. Think what the others would do if they found out. They don't take kindly to secret meetings with police. It smells of lagging.
Does it?
Don't waste my time. Have you got anything for me or not?
I have a little something that might interest you. B. Smith is now on kitchen duty.
So?
Well, she'll be collecting a little extra shipment in with a normal delivery. A shipment just for the women.
Shipment of what?
Extra food, goodies. Does it matter? The thing is to catch her in the act.
How's it being done?
Easily enough. A few stolen requisition forms, a forged signature, and no one's the wiser.
Yeah, well, I suppose that was worth waiting for.
I wouldn't be surprised if the first pickup wasn't in tomorrow's deliveries. So you see, I wouldn't think of ending our little association if I were you. You want to get a lot of extra points if you catch them with this little racket.
I just don't believe it. I was beginning to think they'd changed their minds or something.
Yeah, so was I. I did.
You coming out on your own? That's a bit unusual.
Yeah, well, the officer in charge couldn't wait to dump me. As soon as she signed the paper, she disappeared like a bad smell. Not that I mind, I can tell you.
Never mind. I've never seen a welcoming committee quite as eager as the one you've got waiting for you.
Oh, darling. Well, let's get out of here, huh?
Yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
You made it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, thanks. Here we get Pumpkin.
What was the delay?
Oh, don't ask.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around.